Morning show. My name is Johnny Hughes. I'm here with William Piampofo and Helen Esiedu. My God. Now, this is from City Newsroom. We have not contracted anyone to reclaim government lands. That was a story filed on the 5th of September 2019. That's my birthday. The Lands Ministry. What does the story say? It says the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has denied employing the services of one Clement Jatto to reclaim government lands on its behalf. Mr. Jatto, who claims he has been contracted by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, has allegedly been terrorizing residents in some parts of Accra with the help of land guards. The self-acclaimed contracted staff of the ministry was on Wednesday called out by landowners around the University of Professional Studies in Accra after he led a team of military men and land guards to pull down their structures. Note, team of military men and land guards. But in a City News interview, public relations officer of the ministry, Abraham Otabel, insisted that the ministry did not have a working relationship with Clement Jatto and will adopt every means to ensure that the matter is settled in an appropriate manner. And it says the lands ministry has not hired the land guard to take care of all those lands. Now, I'll play for you a clip by the police, yeah? So that you get a fair understanding what it is. Listen to this report.
Have gained notoriety within some 4 districts. These are the Tema Metropolis, Katamanso District, Shai Osudoku District, and the Ningo Pram District. Developers in these areas continue to suffer in the hands of these land guards who protect lands in these areas for their paymasters. The action of these guards, who in most cases wield dangerous weapons such as machete and guns, have deterred some developers from furthering their projects. On a visit to one of such sites in Bichley, one could clearly see some concrete and mortar that have been mixed to be used for work but have been left to go waste. Some buildings and fence walls have all been pulled down. A one-story building at the site was also set ablaze. All these, I am told, are as a result of land guard activities here. Padmore is a resident here at Bichley.
The quality dibini ya no biya lebe hingwenu. Ebe hingwenu sisi biya neka shipona ke hamme ne machuni bi kani bi na mishipon ebe na machuni fe ko balanga singba mona. Aketu kani ba nyose ko amachuni chuma ko mo ko machuni je po ka saba fo aba tagba foundation na kan shipon no mi ke ake amoko mo e ka fetu no enyumo ka achensu wo langa ba tata wo chian kani bi e kuma ko nyi ka shipo wo Oti kani bi akenyo wose tu kani bi ko wana try to beg kani bi ko je oba wada ko tun te jine jo se spon e ka e fe bo me ahun to na me na ni ya no oba na kani no yo ja male ni bi an ko do machine na fence na kumo e kumo na fence na afun ne asa amachu amami ka mo ko gele spon no e fo fence la o tu fe nígbà yo ne ye nígbà yo ne me ye ni je buaji wo Ghana bi jiwo bon fo mo bi ba wa America le ba ke le ka spon ni le so afunye le spon ni le afo fence wala wo mo sian fe agbere mo nya metu aba se sian kan bi amba se se ke langas kan bi wona me evidence kan bi afi no ko ye he up to now ni bi ne ya ni mo fe mo segbe me ni ba se ko ja me segbe.
The Dodowa Divisional Police Commander, within whose jurisdiction some of these activities are prevalent, has this to say about dealings with the situation.
We are relatively new here. When we came here, we came to meet land issues. But basically, what is here is not the typical land guard issue we see at other places. This place is more of families, and more especially between Shais and Ningus. That has been the issue here. That typical rude land guard issues are not here. But we have policemen armed. The only problem is that we have vehicles, but we don't have enough, considering the area, the vast land that we are covering, all the way to Afienya, sharing boundary with Somenya, Oyibi. So if you have 2 cars, for instance, monitoring such a vast area all the way to Suhuyini Junction, when something is happening here, before maybe you get there, some disaster might have happened.
Okay, so this is what we have here. We just took you back into time. The Honorable Al Hassan Suhuyini is a member of parliament for Tamale North constituency. He's in the studio for the first time in flesh and blood. And guess what? He's been raising the issues that we've been discussing since morning, right from 6 o'clock up until this time. The back and forth with the Lands Ministry, Lands Commission, the military, and the police regarding whether or not they had contracted a certain landguard or landguards to reclaim and protect their lands. In fact, guard their lands. Their land being guarded. William and I have been going back and forth with it. But he's here. He started all of this conversation. Alaji, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm terrific.
Great.
Johnny.
Good to see you.
You indeed have a lovely studio, and I understand why where the energy comes from in the morning. And fire is always exciting.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to remind
It's a beautiful studio.
Thank you. We're grateful. Thank you.
Right.
Why are you interested in this matter? We're sitting quietly, everything was moving on smoothly. Then you go and bring this matter, that we should focus on this.
Me, myself, I don't understand. In fact, yesterday, my wife was asking me why I have gone to look for this trouble for myself.
Yes.
Indeed, I have been cautioned even by some friends in the media only a couple of days ago to watch my back, because the person I'm dealing with, uses some deadly, people for his operations. And the chief director of the ministry, in my view, is the one who brought this problem and not me.
Okay.
And as a member of parliament with the responsibility of providing oversight, it will be irresponsible to see what seem like, a breach of our laws and just, look on because you want to, keep your peace. If you want to keep your peace, this is not a venture you get into. So the Parliamentary Select Committee on Lands and Forestry had a meeting with the Lands Commission. And at the meeting, the chief director shockingly revealed to us that the ministry was dealing with a gentleman that is well known as a landguard in Greater Accra. And you can check on the websites of various news portals, and you will find stories replete with his operations in Greater Accra relating to protection, retrievals of lands and all that. So we're surprised that the chief director was making the confession that the ministry engages his services to retrieve land for them, and that in return the ministry sometimes compensates him in some cases to the tune of 50 acres of land in Accra, depending on where the retrieval takes place.
He said that?
Yes, he said that.
Prof said that?
Yes. And so, I mean, we're wondering who this person is. In fact, when it was suggested that the state could use the police and the military, Prof told us that even the military and the police depend on the services of this gentleman, because he has a whole setup. And I'm using his own words, that he has a whole setup. And we thought someone can really be more powerful than even our police and military in terms of reclamation of land. Then there's a need for the committee to show interest in such a fellow. And he told us that, he has his own media, he has his own, members of the judiciary. So when legal issues even come up, he has a way of going about it. He has his own security that he deploys on these lands. And he gave us a typical example of reclamation that took place around the Kimbu Senior High School.
Right.
And he made the point that in that operation, there was exchange of gunfire between this gentleman's men and the people who had encroached upon the land. And that the gunfire led to the death of 3 people. But that this didn't become a national discussion because the gentleman has his ways in the media and other places. And so the land was retrieved for them. So, I mean, we couldn't have just ignored this as members with the responsibility to provide oversight for a ministry like that. And also as members who, contributed to the passage of the Vigilantism and Other Offences Act 999,
right?
Which proscribed the operations of landguards. And so immediately we requested that the ministry should provide us with details of this arrangement that they have with this gentleman known as Jato.
Right.
And we have also requested for the terms and conditions of that agreement and so on. And we want to know what this whole enterprise is about. So for me, it is quite heartwarming that ever since the story broke, the military has come out to strongly deny that they use the services of this gentleman and that they have the capacity to protect their own lands. And it is untrue that they use the services of this gentleman to protect their lands. The police have also followed suit.
That's right.
Indeed, they have gone ahead to talk about how of recent times they have been very active when it comes to dealing with landguardism in this country, and that must be commended. Now, what is left is with the ministry's angle.
Okay.
And the ministry, through its release, sort of restated the point that they have this arrangement.
Right.
The only thing that has changed is the name.
It's now this is the Enoch.
Yes, so the name Jato has been replaced with Enoch Holdings, which, by the way, belongs to Jato.
Okay. So it's the same individual in the mix.
That's the only change that has happened.
So what was the essence of that press release then?
I wonder. And again, that press release even, makes matters worse, because the press release suggests that this arrangement started in 2012.
That's right.
But my checks at the Registrar General reveal that Enoch Holdings, which belongs to Jato, was incorporated in 2014. 2 years before the ministry claims to have gone into an arrangement with Enoch Holdings. How possible?
So the first point was with Jato, and then later the company came in. But maybe the clarification was that it wasn't with a person, but it's now with a company, which before the law are separate individual, because Jato is not the same as Enoch. By the law. So maybe that's the clarification.
William, if you lift the corporate veil,
but
you will find the individual.
I'm talking about the basic principle.
Yeah, but lift the corporate veil. Because you are a student of the law, so lift the corporate veil.
I get Enoch's point. Yes. That the two are not the same.
Exactly.
Right. They may be similar, but they are not the same. But the point has to be made that Enoch Holdings was not in existence by 2012. And so the ministry could not have been in an arrangement with Enoch Holdings. Now, if the ministry was in an engagement with Jato before Enoch Holdings was incorporated, again, the question of a state agency engaging a land guard comes up. Is that what our laws permits in this country? And we all have heard about the horrifying stories involving landguards. I mean, in some cases, we have heard of people being killed and buried on lands that they have laid claim to. And yet, you have a state that spearheaded the passage of laws to sanitize the land market, to assure everybody that they will not be at the risk of land guards. Engaging the services, in this manner, it must be worrying to all of us.
Did the chief director not know that he was speaking to a house of record?
He did. I mean,
so
he obviously was before.
So who provoked him?
I don't think it was a provocation. I just think that he was being truthful, and he must be commended, because Johnny, before the program, before I was introduced, not before the program began, before I was introduced, clearly you read a denial from the ministry in 2019. It will be interesting for you to make reference to it again, just for the purposes of those who may have missed the essence of that denial. In 2019, here was the ministry denying any engagement whatsoever with any land guard with anybody known as Jato
To reclaim their lands.
to reclaim lands for them. That was a categorical denial that they don't have any relationship with Jato when it comes to reclaiming lands. 2019. Now that same ministry wants us to believe that they have been dealing with this person since 2012. There must be something that they are hiding.
Okay, so this is a story dated the 5th of September 2019. It's on City Newsroom. It says, we have not contracted anyone to reclaim government lands. Lands
2019.
Minister.
They haven't contracted anyone. Now they say they contracted him since 2012.
This matter. Okay.
So there must be something that the ministry is not revealing.
Maybe I'll play a bit of the extended. Earlier we had played just a teaser for you. This is the chief director. Listen to him. We'll come back to Honorable shortly.
If he's selling it, then there's noise all over the place. Jato has, he doesn't even sell it. He also gives it out for people to develop. Like he gets his share. And I can give you a long list of litany of lands that Jato has cleared for us. Jatos are fair. To the extent that even the military, even the Ghana Armed Forces, there are lands that have been encroached by people. They hire Jato to reclaim for them. The Ghana police, in particular, Jato reclaimed their land. For that land for us. And out of that land, we gave you 50 acres. 50 out of 6,000. 50. So 6,000 acres reclaimed. He gets 15 acres as payment. Reclaim all that land for us. And out of that land, we gave you 50 acres. 50 out of 6,000. Reclaim all that land for us. And out of that land, we gave you 50 acres. 50 out of 6,000. 50. So 6,000 acres reclaimed. He gets 15 acres as payment for all his expenses. So he has the right to go and sell that 50. If he's selling it, then there's noise all over the place. Jato has, he doesn't even sell it. He also gives it out for people to develop. So that he gets his share. And I can give you a long list of litany of lands that Jato has cleared for us. Jatos are fair. To the extent that, Chairman, to the extent that even the military, even the Ghana Armed Forces, there are lands that have been encroached by people. They hire Jato to reclaim for them. The Ghana police, in particular, Jato reclaimed their land.
Well, Chairman.
That is how it is.
Chairman.
So please.
Are they done?
How come we sell the contract? Plenty questions, no answer. How come we sell the contract? Plenty questions, no answer. How come we sell the contract? Biggie lifestyle, small paper. You make it celebrity, the shop for counter. We get eyes but can't see.
So, Honorable, let me ask you, 15 minutes after 9, these questions that you are asking, do you hope to get answers to these questions?
Well, the answers must come, whether rain or shine. We have to get answers to those questions because as a committee, especially the minority side of the committee, we have made it clear that our report will not be finalized and presented before the House if we do not get answers to some of these questions that we are asking. We need to know the contract. We need to see the contract, and then we can look at the terms and conditions of that contract. And if it is even possible at some point, we will want to invite the gentleman Jato and his company to brief the committee on his operations and his superpowers, his capacity that the chief director touts to be beyond even the Ghana Police Service and the military in terms of reclaiming lands. We would like to learn from his operations.
50 acres is what he got as compensation from retrieving 6,000 acres of land.
Yes.
50 acres.
And you know that, and that is why it is important that we find the details of this contract, because according to the chief director, After the whole operation, he comes to sit down with the ministry.
Okay.
And he then informs them of the cost he has incurred. The ministry has no way of even verifying if indeed the cost claim that he has incurred is true or not. And so they pay 50 acres of land around Adenta. Can you imagine how much that is worth in Accra?
50 acres.
I mean, and that is supposed to be the cost of, the cost he has incurred.
One plot of land in Adenta is...
We are not talking of plots. We are speaking acres in this matter. We have gone beyond plots.
I'm just saying one
For
plot.
those who don't know, an acre is 4 plots.
That's right. But I'm saying that just one plot of land at Adenta today is valued at how much? For you to be talking about 50 acres as compensation.
In fact, I've been told by someone that the land around, I'm sure, I don't want to give the details, but it's about $100,000. That's what I'm told, that a plot of land is going for around that area, especially those related to the 50 acres, about $100,000.
Like 200 plots.
Yeah. Before the engagement, how did they assess his capacity? Was there any blueprint?
That is why the committee
wants him to come.
Demanding more information. We need, if it is even necessary, to study him and study his operations see how the state can benefit from that.
Do you have the support of Parliament in this demand for accountability? Do you have the support of Parliament?
Absolutely. I mean, I have the support of my ranking member, Honorable Rashid Pelpo. I'm the deputy ranking.
Right.
And I have the support of all my colleagues on the committee. In fact, as we speak, some of them are also engaging other media houses. I know, for example, Honorable Mohammed Suparu was on another network this morning.
Right.
Fred is also engaging other networks. So it is, and I have the support of my chief whip, and the minority leader, who I engaged extensively yesterday on this matter, and we'll be briefing them even later today. So it is a demand that the minority especially is making. But at this point, the chairman of our committee, Honorable Francis Adabo, when we made the request for the details, did not object to it. So it is my assumption, and I am permitted to make that fair assumption, that the entire membership of the committee, made up of the NDC and the MPP, are in sync when it comes to the request for more information as far as this dealing is concerned. But yes, on the minority side, I am not doing this as a lone ranger.
Right.
I have the support of the caucus.
Okay, Ellen.
I wanted to add on to the conversation. My interest now is even more piqued. We've been trying to analyze the issues, try and find some answers. But as you'll see, or as you've heard, we've gotten more questions than answers. The financial angle has piqued my interest even more because we think about monies lost to SkyTrain, Sputnik V, National Cathedral. The amounts of money we are just wasting at a time like this, it's unconscionable. So I think definitely finding out what the payment arrangement is going to be very, very vital. All of this, I'm connecting it straight to my own personal pocket. Why is government making arrangements where it just seems as though we're throwing money away? What is the arrangement?
So when you...
And the threat is that in the mid-year budget, we should expect some increases in
taxes, new
utilities,
taxes.
And
but when I can imagine the mood in the room, the committee room, when these revelations were made. What was it like?
Yeah, we're all shocked. We couldn't, for the life of me, believe that the ministry will be that reckless to engage in that kind of operation and to speak of it with that level of impunity. I mean, we're all shocked, to be honest with you. And that is why, in fact, that discussion did not travel far. After the narration and a few questions were asked, the request was made for more information to be provided the committee. And it is the reason why we are where we are this morning.
So you took it as a public interest matter,
right?
And that's how come it's made the media. I know that there are a lot more that perhaps will be coming in the days ahead of us. What should we be expecting?
Well, first of all, my expectation is that we sanitize the system and we save money where need be, and we also ensure that the state is not seen to be promoting any form of lawlessness whatsoever. It cannot be the case that one man will be so powerful that a whole, ministry will have to depend on that person to protect lands that have been entrusted. Remember, these lands are our lands.
State lands.
They are state lands. They are public lands. And the Constitution has vested those lands in the president. And it is not for nothing that these lands are under the protection of the president, because he's the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. So it is expected that whatever force is needed, to protect those lands, it will be at the disposal of the president. And so it is the reason why, again, that we spent the taxpayers' money and wasted our time to pass these supporting laws like Act 999 to proscribe, landguardism in this country. And so the state cannot be seen to be the first to break that law. So it is my expectation that we'll sanitize the whole system, help to ensure that money is saved if the arrangement that is in place is not even illegal, but is costing the state. That has to be corrected.
This is Abraham Otabil. He used to be the PRO of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. I think now he's been moved to education or something like that.
I think so, yes.
And he says the lands minister has not hired a land guard to undertake any exercise. For us, we are a ministry of a noble, and any transactions we go into, we make sure we do it on behalf of the good people of Ghana. We want to reiterate, they claim that the lands minister has not contracted a contractor called Jato to hire land guards to undertake a demolition exercise. We will not look on for that to continue. The ministry will look into the matter and ensure that there is sanity in the system, because the land sector has to do with regulations, and we have the responsibility over land transactions in the country. 5th of September 2019. This was what
they engaged Anyoko now as we speak.
Well, but that is what...
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that's what they are saying in their press release. So this was in 2019.
So they denied Jato.
Yes.
But now can they deny Anyoko?
But you see, they denied Jato in 2019.
Yes.
Before the committee, the chief director admitted that they have an engagement with Jato. Then in the statement, the Jato was replaced with Enoch Holdings.
That's the point. You see, so they are trying to mix the two, and that's what I was trying to clarify from the beginning.
But this is... Wow. This is bigger than I thought, honestly. This is way, way, way bigger than I thought.
So in trying to learn from Jato, if it comes out that he has some, I mean, this may sound
mystical
light
powers
or controversial. If he has some mystical powers that he uses to do his work, is this something that you consider? Because see, even in law enforcement,
we
in some jurisdictions,
a spiritual
they
unit
consult
of the
psychics
police
to solve problems. I mean,
want us to set a spiritual unit of the police.
Well, I don't want to delve into those realms at all.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, in law enforcement, in some jurisdictions, they consult psychics. Are you aware?
Yes, I know.
Yeah. So it can be that he's operating from some.
Are you suggesting to know something?
We are just discussing. It's part of the whole. It's capacity matter.
Of the Kabudu.
If you want to grow your capacity as parliament, maybe you also.
But Honorable, let's wrap up the conversation this week. So you have raised this. It has generated a lot of national conversation.
Right.
We hope that it doesn't get thrown under the carpet, because you say your committee is keeping an eye on it.
Yeah.
How much more can we escalate it?
So the intention is actually not to escalate. The intention is to find a solution to this problem.
Right.
And so,
but you have to escalate it for it to get the right attention.
Well,
at this point,
I am not speaking against an escalation,
right?
But I'm just saying that our approach, if it leads to escalation, so be it. But our approach is aimed at finding a solution to it, and we will keep asking the right questions and doing the right exposures. And if that contributes to an escalation in the media, so be it. But the focus will not shift.
And solve.
Yes, but solve the problem. And so I was just going to answer your question specifically.
Right.
Now, apart from the request that we have made, that we expect the ministry to supply to the committee, I have also filed an urgent question. And it is my hope that the speaker will admit it, and it will be put on the order paper as soon as possible, for the minister to brief the entire nation, and for that matter Parliament, on this entire matter, so that we are rest assured that nothing untoward is happening here. So the question is aimed at finding the right answers from the minister, because so far it's the chief director who has been speaking.
Right.
He spoke before the committee. He signed the release that came out yesterday. So the question that I have filed, which is an urgent one, is directed at the minister to brief the nation on this matter. The second thing that has happened is that I've also written to the Public Procurement Authority to find out if they sanctioned any any arrangement between the ministry and Enoch Holdings,
right,
or Jato,
right,
and many other things that I will not like to disclose now. But we will keep an eye on this.
Now, Helen, sorry.
I just had a very quick one. What happens if this is tabled for a day that is a court day? Will you be attending Parliament, or will you be boycotting?
Well, today, Jackie Kwesi is going to court, and we are expected to be in court today. And I'm sure that whatever arrangement is in place, the minority, as and when it becomes necessary to review our strategy, will announce the review. But for now,
because for this one, we really want the answer. So if there's a possibility that the strategy can be reviewed, ordinary Ghanaians really want to know.
Are you making an appeal on behalf of the majority in Parliament?
I'm making an appeal on behalf of Ghanaians.
You sound like
just the average. We want to know.
And because we are a listening minority party, I will say that your concern is duly noted.
This is an urgent question I'm filing to you as well.
And like I've said, the approach of the minority now is that any day Jackie Kwesi or any of our colleagues, is before the court, we will be with them. But it's not cast in stone. Right. It is fluid. And when it becomes necessary to review the strategy, we'll review the strategy.
I paid attention to the, the attendance in Parliament the other time. The MPP side, that's the majority, were not in court, but only 15 of them turned up.
That is the irony of this matter. That I sometimes say that maybe it is the cross that we also carry as being social democrats. We tend to be held in higher esteem than our counterparts, the NPP. They are in government, and Parliament is more or less about doing government business. Right. And they have always claimed the majority, 138 members, and yet when we are absent, and Parliament is unable to sit, people don't focus on the absence of the 138 government MPs. They rather make it look like our decision to boycott is aimed at sabotaging government business. But where are the government MPs?
They are with Dr. Baumia and the rest of the campaign.
Is that what the nation needs at this particular time?
It's furthering our democracy.
But we accept, the higher challenge that the people of Ghana hold us to. We think it is better for our country that we always maintain standards.
Honorable, thank you so much indeed for your time.
Most
And let's make some calls now. 055-924-2717, 055-924-2717, and 055-691-0154. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Yes, sir. Me no get. Nice one. Talk to me.
Ghana, Amanihu, and liability president Kufuado. You see, let me applaud Suhuyini for the way he answered your questions here and there. And I will also appeal to them that the issue they are putting forth, even if our minority side will be going to court, they have to do their possible best to hear the cry of what? Ghanaians. Because under this liability administration, every here, every there, every everywhere, they really came to power to loot the nation. And this is the right time, I wish what? Justice Bitches, sitting home now, will call them what? Loot and share. They are not creating you. They loot and share. Okay, and it's sad for Mother Ghana to witness that thing under President Kufuado, who sat on radio and told Ghanaians, Ghana, no, here, my, more money. Look under his watch. The fool, I said Ghana, the world will go to an end. Good morning.
Morning. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, sir. Pastor, how are you?
By the grace, another day is here.
Yes, it is indeed.
And I hope we are all doing good. So,
great. Talk to me.
But I was even shocked this land issue have resurfaced again. But I salute the minority in Parliament. This is one of the beauty of democracy. They are always the watchdog of the ruling government. So minority is also a benefit as far as democracy is concerned. But you know, there was somewhere last year or so, if my memory serves me right, even the youth around La youth also, they were agitating with the military. If all of a sudden we've passed a vigilante bill into law with landguard issue, and the same people who are to chase them up is alleged are now using them up, then we are living in a state of insecurity. But I'm so happy, and in fact, these government appointees and ministers who have also joined Bawumia campaign train, they are also not doing the best to this country so far as development is concerned. And in fact, other contestants should not be worried. They can all join hands, but the delegates are more than the government appointees. So, in fact, they should sit up, and the media compare and contrast so that it doesn't just go at the time that is the minority who are boycotting the business of Parliament.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
You too. Good morning.
How could the journey?
Yes, sir, Papa.
I would like you to give me some time. I beg you. Greetings to prophylactic Ellen. Really, my PMP mates. Really, my greetings to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Charlie, you know what? I want you to cast your mind back on that His Excellency J.J. Rawlings. Before the 1992 Constitution came into being, you realize that the Greenbelt area, I'm talking about the shopping mall.
Right to Flower
Pot there. You realize that people were not building there. Yes. Are you aware of that?
That's true. That's correct.
Good. As soon as the MPP came to power via Kufuor, you know how people went straight for the lands over there. Are you aware of that one too?
Yes, because that was a buffer zone, right?
Yes. So they started building there. Then the worst form of it came up when he sold Ghana Telecom and Ghana Airways. And you know, Nkrumah made it in such a way that Ghana Telecom, Ghana and Airways, they have lands at the Ridge, Airport, Laboni, those areas. They could force, after selling them, the Ghana Airways, people think that Ghana Telecom, building, that's the only property of Ghana Telecom. No! They have so many lands at Ridge, Roman Ridge, Airport, Laboni, and things like that. So MPP government on Kufuor, they started selling those lands to themselves at 3,000 a plot of 3,000 cities each. We are so close to them. Then they will resell it. They will resell it to what they call these white people at $250,000. Look, I'm in that business. I get my point, and I know the worst they did to Ghana's economy.
All right.
They are so selfish. MPP. We prayed to we shouted on air before His Excellency Atamos took that land at the International Student Tour, where we have the foreign ministry right now. You know that they were selling to them. They were selling to Osla,
Well, I am not too sure about the names. I beg you.
Seriously?
Yes.
Maybe you've forgotten.
I will not be
All
part
these
of the names.
networks.
Yes.
Okay, let me just save your network. But to be frank with you, those days, it came out like that.
Okay.
That this is what happened, and then they retrieved all those land from them, and we had the foreign ministry right now. Do you understand?
Papa, thank you very much. I'm grateful for your call. Yeah. Grateful. Good morning.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Shaula.
Diso.
Thank you very much. Hey, it has been some time now here from you.
Right.
And I want to greet the people of Kaswa, ASEC, and then Chairman Digital Man, and then other people.
All right.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. See, there's nothing at all we can compare. NDC can compare itself to NDC, MPP in terms of snatching of properties of this country. I've been saying this long time ago that, look, every property that we have in this country, it has been like, let's say when this entity comes to power. Look at Saglemi. Saglemi that we are struggling, and NDC brought it into being. You came and said you are going to sell it to the private people. Meanwhile, when you came, you also devoted some money inside. So what is the problem? What are you selling properties like that? So what is happening with this man at all? We know our properties that we have, Ghana-owned companies. Now those companies are now said to be are now going to be given to a private people. What kind of life is there? What kind of lifestyle are we behaving at this country? You are saying that what is it? One district. What is the name, Grampo? I forgot the name.
What?
You are getting jobs. Say one factory, one
district, one factory. Right.
Your own factory, you are going to sell them again. So why don't you engineer, use their own money and implement that? And you are selling them out. You are selling them out again. So what kind of go forward match is this? I mean, this is government. I don't know. I don't like. They lost the focus. They don't have a think any longer.
Okay. Thank you.
They don't have to think. So Ghanaians must be wise. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning, Johnny.
Yes,
how are you
sir.
doing?
I'm fine. Greater than Accra.
Johnny, are we living a citation life? Because it looks like somebody will stand on the platform and read to us what Ghana looks like. But then when the citation is put down, it's a different story. We all say that after elections in America, it's all about America. It's the same here. There is no work. The standard of living is nothing to write home about. Our schools are not doing well. We're allowing Chinese to destroy our waters. Things that belong to the nation, somebody will go behind and direct foreign nationals to go and take outside. We give exemptions to people who want to create businesses here. Millions of Ghana cedis. We destroy water bodies. Overfishing by foreign companies. So their ship sinks. And all this is happening. If I should buy a land and I'm not ready to use it, must I go and give it to somebody to watch over it for me? Can't the land be there on its own? What are the laws saying? Those that is given power to use the law to govern us, what are they doing? Must a pastor pray over my food for me before I eat? That is what is happening to our land. If it is indeed a Ghanaian land, I don't know MDC, I don't know MPP. Because I don't know where Johnny used to vote, and he doesn't know where I vote. But we are talking this morning about Ghana.
Okay.
What is wrong with us?
Thank you. Bye. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Yes.
Yeah, good morning. I'm up here.
Yes, okay. Talk to me, sir. How are you?
Very, very good.
Great.
Let's see. Yes, Apotro. Every CMO. And like I said, we are wine. Now, nobody engineer. Johnny.
Yes, sir.
I'm not happy about this news this morning because some of us we know who Jato is.
I see.
And looking at it from a security perspective, if such it is, the Ministry of Interior and Ministry of Defense, and also the Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency, should look at it well. Yes. You know, they should know something that we are equally intelligent than them. but probably they had opportunity to be in politics.
Right.
You see, so when these things, they shouldn't just throw their defensive, strategy as if, oh, then that is it, then we take it. Please, they should have give us a break. We are also matured. These things, they have to go further. And if not, they have to strike that Enoch Holdings. Because where did they get the guns, as some news is saying, that they fought at Kimbu where there was an exchange of guns? Where did he get the gun? Because I know security firms are not allowed to use guns. Excuse me. Be NIL, so show investigate this thing and know who really that guy is. Because one day it will bring trouble to this country. Johnny, please, good morning.
Morning, sir. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Johnny, good morning to you. How are you doing?
I'm greater than Accra. How are
Johnny,
you?
it's really worrying. Yesterday, I listened to Suhuyini on CTF, and he made the point that the military and the police are saying that a private person has the capacity to actually manage that situation than them. It is really worrying. And Johnny, you know, the whole nation we know has actually been zoned into districts and then regions. And we have government representatives in these zones. And if government property is there, they actually know and they should protect it. When we talk about encroachment, simply means that, Johnny, people are developing these areas. The question we should ask ourselves is, who issued the permit to these people? Encroachment doesn't mean they are working there. They are actually developing the area. Who gave them the permit? So our state authority, they sit down. They are watching the people go encroach. Then they have private individual to go and then reclaim it. Then they compensate. Is it another avenue for create, loot, and share? What is this? Surely you know, when the wicked rule, the people suffer. This is where we are. May God help us all.
Amen.
Johnny, God bless you.
Bless you too. And we can't pick any more calls because we have to pave way for womenpreneur Helen Apiampofo will run